Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to talk about the campaign and the fact that it's not going to be better with the changes. It's going to be a better quality of life sort of thing throughout Act 3, but it's not going to be better through Act 1 to 6. And I know a lot of the streamers and everything, since they have had their little rage, which got things changed, have now turned their wagons around and now are in support of GGG and saying they're awesome and that they're trying their hardest and we should just cross our fingers and hope and just keep our mouth shut. Which, I don't know, maybe GGG got a little upset with all the streamers having their little tantrum. Which, majority of the player base was unhappy with the patch, and the ones that didn't do the twister or anything and actually had to go through the campaign the hard way with some of the early health stuff, and then once the changes came in and everything, the campaign still felt bad. And on the screen I have the zones. I've gone through and more or less worked out the amount of zones you have to run through versus the amount of zones, amount of bosses you have to take out versus the amount of bosses, so on. And this is straight A to B, get the act done. This is the plus skill and all that type stuff. So is this. And if you add it all up and double it, it's about 84 zones you must complete. And that is, if you complete the campaign in about 20 hours, just going through the zones you must do, that is about 15 minutes per zone on average. Like, that doesn't even sound like it's that fun. So that's, you have a build that is quite good, and obviously the GGG game spy god goblins obviously heard me complaining about it, so can't get in at the moment. Now, why will it still feel awful and everything after all the changes? It's because the amount of time you don't actually spend running through the game, or you're running through the game but you got to go here, 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 here to get slightly ahead. Here, 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 slightly ahead. So you don't feel like you're actually progressing. And then on top of that, you're going through the campaign very slowly. And then you either have damage or you don't. There's not really an in between. You're either taking out all the trash or you're taking out the boss. You might be doing both, but generally you're either taking out the trash or you're taking out the boss. The easier of the two. So the slow part becomes whichever one you're not quite taking out as well. Now, unlike the streamers who use the bug twister thing that just said, oh yeah, it just does like 100% damage or something more. Yeah, it was exponentially worse than that. One streamer said that the twisters and stuff were just doing like 150% more damage, and it still does uber damage. It doesn't matter. You still use it same, even after the nerf, which it doesn't, because they were actually getting up to 1,000+% damage, which can equate to tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of damage increase of what was meant to happen, because each tornado got 50% boost. So the first 50, second 100, third 150, fourth 150, so on and so forth. So a lot of the ones that did that and ran the campaign and just got all their currency and everything before the nerf came in that fixed it. Can't really open their mouth because they didn't feel the campaign like everyone else. They used a bug build, and a lot of them went the same way as the gas grenade people. It's like, nah, the build's awesome, you just suck. It might be a little bug, but nah, you just suck, I'm awesome type thing, which, I don't know, maybe it's a new way that some of the top streamers and stuff are going. Like, I don't know, maybe their channel management people told them that that's how they should act. Wouldn't have a clue. Not rich enough to actually afford anyone else but me to do everything on my channel. So, back to why it's going to suck doing the campaign until they change things that aren't even damage related. Like, it doesn't matter whether you do all the damage or none of the damage. These things will slow you down. Going, I'd show you on the tree in Act 1 where you got to spike things in, but you got to go to town like 3 times just doing that little bit. The bosses have way too much talking. The count is one that is super annoying. After he dies, you have to wait for his loot to drop, but that only comes after he does his whole monologue. And yeah, a lot of these things can be changed by one, either increasing the movement speed of the player, dropping the armor penalty as well. So playing a armor base isn't a penalty, it's just a choice. Increasing the base movement speed of the character. So you run probably 10% movement speed boots, just like base. Maybe they can start like 5, 10. See how that goes. That will help us go. Because I'll use Diablo 2 for an example, because that is a game that's renowned for having big maps. The base movement speed of their characters is a lot higher than Path of Exile 2. So running through the zones doesn't feel as penalizing if you go backwards. Oh, I'm running over here, there's nothing over here, I gotta run the other way, halfway across the map. By the time you would have got at least half that distance, max. In Diablo 2, even in Act 1, you are on the other side of the map. Look and see whether it's on that side. Like, the penalty for going the wrong way is fixed by base movement speed of the character. Now, if they didn't want to do that and speed up the characters because they want you to play slow, they have to either make the maps pretty much straight lined. Either they create straight lines, so they just add in little bits in there, you go left, you go right, but generally you're heading straight. Or the maps are generally hooked left, hooked right, straight, you do a U-turn, but it's a set sort of path that you can't really get off. And then they can make them as long as they want, because you are on that path, you're going that path, you're never going to get it wrong unless you go this side angle. Oh, that goes off into, say, the side boss area over here, which you can do for a gem or something. Then this one over here, you go through another zone, you're into another area for another side quest type thing. Like, they either got to do that, increase the movement speed of the character, or they have to shrink the overall size of the maps by, like, for most of them, probably 50%. Like, they created the maps going, okay, in like 5, 6 years, we're probably going to have this type of content throughout the campaign. We're going to need areas for this that we might add in like 5 years. So we're going to make the maps way bigger than they need to be, because in 5 years, there'll be something there to put in those empty zones so players can actually do something there. Like, a lot of their decisions is coming seems to be coming from, oh yeah, ideally we want this. Yeah, either admit to yourselves that you are so far behind that you don't have that luxury, or just cop it on the chin that you mucked up, shrink the map, and go, we're going to make this map 50% the size, and then over the course, as we get content in it, we are going to make these maps back to the way they were, large areas, and then by the time the player base has got there, the content's in there, and it's filled up, the player base will be in a better position, the game will be in a better position, the movement, the skills, everything will be in a better position to actually implement the big, slow type thing. And it might not be slow by then because the player base will probably keep complaining about the fact of how slow the campaign is. And every patch, people are just going to be looking out for that one bug to build. It was the gas grenade, explosion grenade on launch. It was the tornado twister this time. Next time it'll be something else. And people are just going to jump on it to get through the campaign because they really hate the amount of time the campaign takes. Not doing the campaign. The campaign's a chore. It should always be a chore, some sort of penalty for creating another character. Like, you have to do this if you want to go play endgame, which is where you want to be. The fact that the penalty for doing that is so high, people are just like, nah, I'm done. Or they're staying on the same character because they don't want to go do the campaign to do another character, to do another build. They're just going to go, well, we got them to change the ascendancies, so we can change that soon. I'm playing a huntress. That's the meta that 90% of people are playing. So I'm going to just stick with a huntress, just farm gold and currency, so I just re-roll this character and not have to actually level another one. And then once the ascendancy come in, I can then go try the other ascendancy, try more builds, and they're just going to stick with one class, not because they feel good that that class is the best, which the meta's gone completely out of the way to lightning arrow because other skills still need picking up, but they really don't want to do the campaign because it's slow, boring, uninteresting, and you don't feel like you're progressing 90% of the time. Let me know what you think about the campaign and everything for Path of Exile 1 versus Path of Exile 2. It is 10 acts versus 6 acts. The speedrunners can get the Path of Exile 1 done in 4 to 6 hours. Let's say the average player who's playing a decent build will do it in about 9 hours. Just so we don't eliminate the outsides of either way. So 9 hours, Path of Exile 1. 10 acts. We then have Path of Exile 2, 6 acts, 20 hours. 15 to 20 hours. I'd like to put in a side note that Diablo 2 takes about 15 to 20 hours, and they do it 3 times, and they don't complain nearly as much as Path of Exile 2 players. And that system is completely locked into, yeah, good luck re-rolling. You got 3 of them over the course of all 3 difficulties, and then if you want to re-roll after that, it's some special stuff. So it's not the fact that it takes 15 to 20 hours, it's the fact that the campaign's boring. Because people are willing to do it. It's been proven in the past that people are willing to do a campaign if they believe that risk reward, time spent, feels well worth doing it. But let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time. And hopefully, you're playing a Huntress, because by the looks of it, going to be virtually the only character that's going to get any decent videos out on how to make it delete screens. And they're not going to nerf it unless they want a complete riot. So it's 100% nerf proof unless GGG want a riot. And pretty much a civil revolt, because I've already said they're never going to nerf something mid-league. They said it on stream live in front of like 1 million people. So if you want to play a more or less broken build, level up a Huntress and go play one of the variants that are being pushed around the league. Deadeye is another one that's up there, but you're probably already playing Deadeye if you're into the Deadeye sort of stuff. But I'll catch you next time, and have a good one.